Welcome, glad you guys could make it to the artifact interpretation today. We have some new ones to look at. This one's very weird to look at from other angles, but when you see it like this, you can see the outline portrait of the tall headdress person here. He's almost painted in, if you look closely there. A little hard to see, but if you put it all together, there's different portraits. There's one just in white with the open mouth here, and of course the eyes right here. And then if you look at the larger portrait, you can see the mouth being here in black, I guess. It's a pretty interesting piece there, and I'll zoom in a little bit on that face so that you guys can get a better look at it. So the smaller face, of course, and if you look at the details in the eye right here, you'll see all the little lines coming up, and the circle, of course. And then as we tilt it too, it gets even more lifelike. So a lot of times you're only getting a sliver, just a tiny little section of the face. And the sun's coming out now, so let's go ahead and take a good look at this from different distances as well. So as you see it from far away too, different features will start to pop out, and you'll be able to see cheekbones and things come out, just like the man in the mountain, right? Just you see the round head. See how it's denoted right here? Wow. Let's take a look at several of these today, guys. We've got lots to go through, and I'm really glad that you guys were able to make it today for this. So we're going to kind of take just a quick peek at some of these Mohawk fellas and show you some of the similarities between them, because this is a very common one that we find here in North Carolina. This motif here, you guys let me know what you think, but you know how it is, a long face, and then what you do is you tilt it to make it look a little better. But this one, you don't have to tilt too much, and you can see this character here with the eyes almost in the same exact spot. For this one, you can see the carving right there for the eye. And he's got that little mohawk and same coloration on there as well. Let's go ahead and look at another one here. Just a little hand-sized one, and you guys have seen this probably in the last video. He has white paint on the top of him. Again, with that same, sorry, I'm kind of covering him up. Same kind of big nose, right? But when you tilt him, different portraits and different people will start to pop out. There's different characters in this. So like we have explained before, there's a fly, but just as we have explained before, you know, this art style shows that you couldn't carry around 15 different rocks if you were a migratory person. So you had to learn how to make a style of art which created several different portraits, perhaps of fathers and then of sons, and lots of children, lots of women, lots of birds here in North Carolina. So as a quick recap, if you guys aren't familiar with the art, here is a bird effigy. It has red paint on the top here. And this little cardinal, you can see the little feet kind of printed in on the bottom here. It's a cardinal, I guess, because he's got red on the crest, you know, it just looks like a cardinal. And when you put him like this, he's got that broad back. It looks like a duck maybe sitting on the water. You see how the shadows hit his back there? Oh, maybe it represents a duck with a square beak. And then whenever you turn him over like this, he's still a bird. Maybe now he's a bird with his feet down here. He's like a crest, a square, of course, and the beak is pointy. So, you know, we've explained it so many times before. I hope I'm not boring you guys. If you, the subscribers know, of course, they tricked us, right? So this way, the beak is square and the crest is red. So we don't see really, you know, any problem with the beak being square, especially because it's a duck. Then when we put it like this, we see that the crest is square and the beak is pointy, like a beak should be. So now it's turned into like a cardinal, perhaps, maybe looking up. And then, of course, the full bird always turns into the bird head, which we have represented here, which is like a goose head with his recessed beak and the eye and the big fat cheek. See how the cheek kind of comes out, and see the curve on it around the edge there, all the way from the top around. And then whenever you flip it over, you see how also, before we flip it, notice how the beak is here. And then whenever you flip it, you see how it turns into a dog head. So it's very square, like a dog head, you know, the curves and things. See how the difference in the top edge there? And then whenever we tilt it correctly, you can see the color of the paint for the nose, and then the black eye and the jowl. Very neat. So that's just a quick demonstration to catch anybody up who hasn't seen these before. And let's go ahead and take a look at a few more. This is the back of that one that's very popular, at least popular to me. I for sure like it, so I'm sure. Oh, look at this one. Oh my gosh. So this is one of the reasons I love doing this with you guys, because you find these amazing ones together on camera. Look at that one. So this is of course on the back of the one with the other photorealistic portrait on it that we just discovered. And there's so much more on these. I mean, it just takes time to go through them, and that's why all the encouragement is really, really great, so that we can continue to study more about this and learn more about it. All right, I'm getting way off topic, guys. Here, let's keep on going here. Let's look at these spear points. So we're kind of showing these Mohawk fellas here, and I want to show you this one as well. Went over a big series with the spear points, but again, a small little profile here and a large one as well. So you have just a tiny one, and of course you can see the white carving and the nose poking out. So right here is where the eye is. See the diamond? A lot of times it's this diamond shape, and then the circle in the middle and the nose poking out, just a small little crack or indentation for the lips. And then you can see how it's cut out right here. So it's not like an arrowhead, you know. An arrowhead's very rough. This is art. This is, they put a different level of detail on this. And if you look closely at the paints and things on here, you may be able to see other things. We put this in the black light as well. And on the back of it, it's even a better, I think, portrait for a larger, you know, for the larger character, of course, you can see. So of course the eye right there, and the nose, the hook nose. Just giant headdress. This is North American art. You know, you don't have to go to Egypt. You can see the triangle. It's actually triangle shaped, just like the other side is. And then if you look closely at the cheekbone, see how the cheekbone is defined, the nose. It's not just a coincidence. And you guys who are watching know this, right? But other people don't understand and don't realize, and until they see things like this. And you see it on both sides, and you're like, well, something might be going on here. So it's up to you guys also. I mean, I do my best to share it, but you know, you guys share it as well. Let people know. For you guys who know how to see, I mean, this one is almost looks like a modern statue. It's one of my favorites. It's a cardinal, just I think on the back of a parrot, but the cardinal on the end here is just amazing. See the beak and the eye kind of lit up a little bit there in the back of the cardinal on the 1 foot and the 2 foot. And you see how the tail feathers, so it's just the whole, like this is the body of the bird and the tail of the bird. So the tail comes down. We'll change distances on that because I know you'll be able to see it. So that's one of, you know, and even if you can't see, especially in person, you can spot this. That's pretty amazing. So there's some rougher versions here of what we're showing with this version. You can kind of see how, you know, there's a rough face on this one, and it is actually a version of this in some which way. There's lots of little X's and carvings and things on this, but this is just an old archaic, or I guess Paleolithic tool. The figure right here, the circle for the eye of the figure, is really popping out for me. So yeah, a lot of these little Mohawk characters, and perhaps the Mohawks are also birds. You can see the circle right here, and then the white line for the bird's head. And so perhaps there's a character right here with the bird on top of his head. This one is another one with the Mohawk here. It's a crystal version, and he's so complicated, and we've gone over a few of the different characters on here. Of course, we're seeing this bird head right here, the eye carved in and the beak right at this section. So let's look for a person underneath this. I'm seeing kind of something, but there's so much on this one, and it's a really beautiful one. This may just be a full bird. The bird head is really just worth focusing in on just a little bit because it's amazing. And the same theme here. keeps on going. I think it's just a whole bird. Now that I look at it, I can see that this is the wing and the belly of the bird. Maybe it was just a big fat bird. So I had this artifact for a little while. When I look at it like this, a lot of people thought it was like a rhinoceros, and there were rhinoceros in prehistoric times. And this is the way the art is. This is one of the things that is so compelling about it. This is why we do this for free, is because we learn things every single day showing this art. It might even be two birds. There might even be another bird like this with the full, like a side shot, a full side shot. So we're holding the stone sideways, and of course the bird would be sideways. And so the bird's wing and the eye is carved in right here, and the recessed beak. See how the beak is more yellow? I'm gonna go ahead and try to keep it in the sun, but I'm gonna zoom in for you guys so you can see the face. And you tell me, maybe a bird this way and a bird the other way. Oh my gosh. Now it looks like a damn seagull. You know, I mean, the art is so incredible, the way that it works. And again, we're kind of seeing this hominoid mohawk figure here if you look into the carvings here. And again, these are all white pieces of quartz, same color as this stone here, except these have black paint on them. And you can see how shiny that black paint is. The whole stone is polished. So much on this, we could spend all day. And I'm willing to spend as much time as you guys are willing to watch. So let's go ahead and take a look here with the right side profile. When you start looking at the stone, you can start to see all these little carvings and things on here. There's actually a portrait in here, the person with a really tall headdress, perhaps a feather. You can start to see the lines at the very top there. Sorry, I'll keep the stone in focus here for us. And then whenever we tilt it, maybe there's a character, you know, in there, perhaps with this eye. Right here, a very large eye, the pupil of it, and then the whole eye, the eyebrow, the nose, and the mouth down here. Let's tilt it a little further and see if it comes out a little better. He really doesn't. It has to be a character, it can't be a human. And whenever you see the nose, you look underneath and you see the little pokey lips. And then of course this is going to be like the Wilma face. Which is weird to say, however, you know, they're sometimes cartoony shaped. Oh my gosh, this one is just, there's just too much on it, too much. I'm not saying anything there. Just kind of looking around with you guys. Maybe even a fish? Maybe? Nah. No. So many things. It's, you know, you don't want to start just like, who knows, right? But with this site, it's really just birds and people, and mammoths, from what I've been able to tell so far. This one, we took a quick video at the end showing this one, but going over the video at the end, I showed that I noticed I didn't really show the nose very well. So you can see how the nose comes out, and then there may be a little indentation for lips. There's an eye in here for just one portrait. And then in the carvings, there'll be another one as well, kind of ignoring the paint. And then as we tilt it, looking at the paint, looking at the circles, see how there's a circle here with the red. So this white spot right here might represent an eye. So as we tilt it and get it just in the right spot, I see like a small little ripple, and sometimes those little ripples, even just like that, would be the face. Sometimes that's all you get of the face. Let's go ahead and look at this one down here. Of course, we're seeing this large carving for the eye, and the nose and the mouth down here with the larger headdress person. Some large circle in there. Right here I'm looking at, I'm not sure how that would, where that corresponds to. There's so much on this section I can see start to pop out, but that's super high level. Whew. So trying to go over some of the basics, I guess, with you guys just a little bit. Of course, it's always just the edges. A lot of times there's tucked in versions with people with headdresses on. And in different local areas, the same motifs repeat. So certain things like the artifacts that I find here in North Carolina aren't going to be the same ones that you might find out in somewhere else. People were kind of localized. This is the way the gateway looks now. You can kind of still see the carving for different eyes, but it still has so much more different things on it. So much more to show. The one great one that I thought people were just going to be able to pick it up right off the bat, but it's a little hard to see for a lot of people, is the eye, the nose, and the mouth open here with the big cheekbone. Different lights and things, of course, help a lot with that. And as we tilt it, sometimes you see different spots. So those white spots, there's 2 of them in a row. Different ones correspond to different people. Super neat. And of course, in the background here, you guys see the bow. All right, I think that's all. We've had a long video. Hope you guys had a great one. And we'll chat again soon. Bye-bye.